All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and, honestly, one of the most misunderstood ideas in business, branding. I mean, what is it, really? We're about to go way beyond just logos and slogans to get to the real heart of what makes a brand stick with you.
You know, this quote right here, it absolutely nails it. We tend to think a brand is something a company makes, a logo, a name, some cool ad. But this idea completely flips that on its head. It says the brand doesn't actually live inside the company. It lives inside the customer's mind. It's a feeling.
So what does that mean? It means branding isn't some campaign you just run and then you're done. No, it's the result of everything you do. It's built from every single little interaction, from your customer service to the quality of your stuff. You don't just create a brand, you have to earn it.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to build a brand piece by piece. First, we'll bust some of those big myths. Then, we'll build the smart, strategic head and find its emotional heart. We're also going to look at the tricky hurdles that can trip up even the best brands. And then finally, the big payoff, creating that lasting loyalty.
So, first things first, let's just clear the air and get really crisp on what branding is and what it isn't. Getting this one simple thing right is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
So look at it this way. The stuff on the left, those are things you control. You can design a logo, you can manufacture a product, easy enough. But the things on the right, a feeling, a reputation, you can't control those. You can only influence them. And that jump from controlling things to influencing feelings, that's where the real magic of branding happens.
Now that we've got that straight, let's start building the head of our brand. This is all the logical, strategic stuff, the blueprint. Because let me tell you, a strong brand never, ever happens by accident. It's built on a solid foundation of smart, clear thinking. Strategy is basically the architecture of a brilliant brand.
And this roadmap makes a ton of sense when you think about it. You can't figure out where you fit in the market until you know who you're talking to. And you can't define that audience until you understand the world around you. And none of that matters if you don't know what you're trying to achieve in the first place. See? Each step just builds right on top of the last one.
Now this little grid, it looks simple, but it's an incredible tool for being brutally honest with yourself. The top row is about looking in the mirror. What are we genuinely great at, and where do we kind of stink? The bottom row is about looking out the window. What's happening out there that we can jump on, and what's coming that could totally wreck us? Answering these 4 questions gives you the clarity you absolutely need.
And to guide all those big strategic moves, you need a North Star. Your mission is your why. Like, why do you even exist right now? And your vision is your what. What do you dream of becoming down the road? Together, these make sure the brand's head is always thinking straight and moving in the right direction. Okay, but a blueprint, a strategy, a head. Let's be real, that's all a bit cold and lifeless without a pulse, right? So now we need to find the brand's heart. This is the part where a company stops being some faceless thing and actually starts connecting with people on a human level.
And here's a really cool way to give a brand some soul, using archetypes. These are basically timeless personality types that we all just kind of get. Is your brand the jester, all about having a good time like Dude Wipes? Or maybe it's the hero, pushing you to be your best, like Nike. Picking an archetype gives your brand a personality that people can actually form a real bond with.
And this is maybe the most important rule for the brand's heart. Be authentic. You cannot fake a soul. It just doesn't work. Trying to cook up some cool story almost always feels phony. But the real story, the actual struggles, the genuine reason you started, that's the stuff people really connect with.
So a brand with a heart just feels alive. It's got a personality, it stands for something, it doesn't talk down to you, it talks with you. I mean, think about the difference between your bank and your favorite local coffee shop. One is a transaction, the other is a relationship. That's what a brand's heart can do.
Okay, so we've got a smart head and a warm heart. We're golden, right? What could possibly go wrong? Well, this is where things can get a little dangerous. Success itself can become your biggest enemy, a trap that's known as the Icarus paradox. You remember the old myth of Icarus, right? He had these amazing wings made of wax and feathers, and he was soaring. But the very things that let him fly, the wax, melted when he got too close to the sun, and he came crashing down. The exact same thing can happen to brands. The formula that made you a winner can become so rigid that you go blind to a changing world and completely forget how to adapt. And Laura Ashley is just this perfect, tragic example. Their brand was built on this
traditional, romantic style that was a massive hit in the 70s. But then the 80s came along, the world changed, women's fashion changed, and the company just couldn't let go. Their greatest strength, that super clear traditional identity, became their biggest weakness. They clung to their old winning formula while their customers just walked away.
The Icarus paradox pops up in some really common mistakes. A brand that doesn't evolve feels ancient. A brand that changes everything overnight, remember that Tropicana carton disaster, can tick off its biggest fans. And a brand that ruins the thing people loved about it, like when Evernote's app got all bloated and buggy, just completely shatters trust. These are today's wings of wax.
So, if we can build a brand with a smart head and a real heart, and we can dodge those traps that come with success, what's the grand prize? Well, it's the single most valuable thing a company can possibly have: real, honest-to-goodness customer loyalty.
And here's the proof in the pudding. When people were asked what keeps them coming back, it wasn't a bunch of coupons. Nope. They were over 3 times more likely to say it was trust in the brand and fair value. That tells you everything, doesn't it? You can't just buy loyalty with a sale. You have to earn it with consistency and integrity.
And if you need a cold hard cash reason to care, just look at this number. It's kind of staggering. Because costs are rising so fast, retailers now lose, on average, $29 for every new customer they bring in. Chasing new people is literally a losing game. Building a brand that people stick with isn't just nice marketing, it's basic survival.
So how do you actually build that loyalty? Well, this 5 C's framework is a fantastic guide. It all starts with clarity. Is your message easy to get? Then comes consistency. Do you feel the same no matter where I find you? After that, you need creativity to get noticed and a real connection so it feels like you're one of us. And finally, you deliver all of that with confidence, showing that you truly believe in your own story. This is how you build a brand that people don't just buy from, they believe in.
So we'll leave you with this question. As you go about your day, take a look at the brands you use. Are they just cold, clever blueprints designed to take your money? Or do they feel like they have a real beating heart? Because the ones that last, the ones that really truly matter, they have both.